This is Akashvani. We shall listen to a literary talk on literature and aesthetics by Dr. P.Poongundran, Head and Associate Professor, Department of English, Ramakrishna Mission, VIVEKANANDA College, Chennai.
Literature refers to written works, especially those considered to have artistic and intellectual value. Aesthetics is an area which belongs to the appreciation of the beautiful and having such appreciation in accordance with the principles of good taste. Ever since the Homo sapiens arrived on this planet, the pursuit is of beauty and joy, the two being interlinked. A physical beauty as manifest beauty and spiritual beauty is an inner core of beauty. Aesthetics lies in the heart of literary experience. Literature in all its forms is inherently beautiful and artistic. Its various stylistic elements such as archetypes, myths, aphorisms, similes, rhythm, rhyme contribute to its overall beauty. Additionally, both the structure and texture of a literary work enhance its aesthetic appeal. The beauty of literature, like that of any art form, offers a holistic experience, art allowing readers to immerse themselves in moments of artistic expression. A writer or a poet strives to capture and convey a moment of joy or profound insight, encapsulating it with the framework of language. Through this process, literature transcends mere words and becomes an experience that resonates with the emotions and imaginations of its audience. Art is often defined as a mirror to nature, but this definition does not fully capture its essence. Art is more than just an imitation of reality. It includes the power of suggestion, the depth of symbolism, the vividness of description, and the overall impact it creates. The beauty of a work of art depends on the artist's imagination and creativity. However, imagination does not exist in isolation. It needs a foundation, something to build upon. It is impossible to imagine something that has no connection to reality. For example, a poet may describe mountains of gold, hills of gemstone, or rivers flowing with milk and honey. These are imaginative versions of real mountains, hills, and rivers. The artist takes elements from nature and enhances them through imagination, transforming the ordinary into the extraordinary. Art is not a mere photograph of life. It does not simply copy reality but interprets it through a creative lens. Literary critics often make a distinction between reality and realism. Reality refers to life as it is, while realism is the artistic representation of life. The closer art comes to capturing the essence of life, the better it becomes. However, if it becomes an exact copy of life, it loses its artistic value. On the other hand, if it completely detaches from reality, it turns into something abstract or surreal, making it difficult to relate to. The best art finds a balance. It is rooted in reality but enhanced by imagination. A person walking to an art exhibition, passing through a narrow, dirty alley filled with suffering beggars. Unable to bear the sight and smell, he closes his eyes, holds his nose, hurries into the gallery. Inside, he encounters a painting titled Lazarus the Beggar. Captivated by its beauty and gazing at it with admiration. Ironically, the beggar he avoided in real life now fascinates him as art. This demonstrates how reality transforms when viewed through an artist's imagination, turning everyday scenes into aesthetic experience. Similarly, Professor M. Hriana recounts a visit to an art gallery where a viewer, upon seeing a painting of a sunrise, exclaims, "Can there be a sunrise like this?" The artist responds, "If there were one, wouldn't you like it?" This exchange highlights how art enhances reality, presenting idealized versions that evoke deeper appreciation. Both stories illustrate the relationship between life and art, showing how artistic interpretation can elevate ordinary experiences into realms of beauty and contemplation. An artist's work remains true to nature without merely copying it, a principle that extends to the performing arts. In William Shakespeare's Othello, a particular scene which is often cited to illustrate the nature of art. When Othello strangles Desdemona, the replication of the act is so convincingly executed that spectators applaud and even express a desire to witness the scene again in the theatre. This response underscores how artistic transformation turns an otherwise horrifying act into an aesthetic experience. In reality, the act of murder repels us, yet through art it draws us with its expressive power. While reality lacks the allure of realism, realism in turn heightens reality by emphasizing its aesthetic dimensions. Art, therefore, supplies what reality often misses. Art also elevates particular objects or events with universal significance. A painting of an old man, for instance, does not merely depict a specific individual, rather, it represents the broader concept of old age, evoking its frailty and the neglect often suffered by the elderly. In this way, the artist moves beyond mere representation to create a generalization that resonates with universal truths. The purpose of art to provide humanity with an experience of beauty, fulfillment, and emotional depth. It is not utilitarian but purely aesthetic in its essence. Aristotle said that art is not an imitation of the externals but an imitation of essentials. A convenient definition of art, holding mirror to nature or representing life, is far too simplistic because the artist is no machine like a camera but a sensitive individual who creates and represents rather than merely reflect as by a mirror. There is no place for ugliness in a work of art. Artistic beauty can coexist with ugliness without the latter diminishing the former. In nature, both elements exist side by side. A person observing a seascape may notice not only the vast, beautiful expanse of the blue sea, but also the dirt and debris floating on it. However, these elements are an integral part of the scene and do not necessarily mar its beauty. Instead, they contribute to the overall harmony of the landscape. This harmony is what artists seek to capture in their work. An artist looking out at the sea from a window might take it various details: the deep blue waters, the foamy white surf, the golden sand, the swaying coconut palms, a few grazing cows, soaring kites, distant ships on the horizon, and perhaps a tourist bus parked in the foreground. While translating this scene into canvas, the artist may choose to retain certain elements while omitting others, such as the tourist bus, if it disrupts the composition's balance. Thus, a work of art is carefully crafted, harmonious whole. Whether a painting, a drama, a sculpture, or a song, it presents a complete and unified vision, revealing a beautiful interplay of colors, sounds, shapes, or events. Aesthetics is more than a matter of meaning and more than a matter of suggestion. The meaning in itself may be electrifying, and suggestion may take meaning beyond the confines of language. One of the challenges in experiencing a work of art is a direction of understanding. While the artist moves from their own vision to creating the text, the reader or viewer must move from the text back to the artist's intent. The brilliance of the creator lies in making their work communicate as clearly, as authentically as possible through words or forms. The aesthetic experience, initially personal to the artist, is then transformed to the audience. Art must be not only fascinating, pleasing, and delightful, it must also be moral. E.M. Foster illustrates this idea through a story. An artist walking along a road past a police station with neatly whitewashed walls. He entered and asked the officer for permission to paint on the wall. The officer checked the regulations and found no rule against it. However, he asked the artist what he planned to paint and whether it would be useful. The artist replied that he couldn't say but wanted to paint regardless. The officer, uncertain about its purpose, refused permission. This story heightens an important point. No matter how beautiful art may be, it often struggles to gain approval unless it is seen as socially relevant and beneficial. Aesthetics enriches literature by blending beauty, emotion, and meaning, offering both joy and insight. It transforms perception, deepens understanding, and fosters a lasting connection between art and life. Aesthetic experience combines knowledge and delight, helping us to see the world more deeply. Creating art brings joy to the artist and gives the audience a sense of peace and harmony. Aesthetics guides artistic creation and can deeply influence the audience, similar to a religious experience. It includes all human emotions and brings fulfillment, discipline, and joy. This applies not only to poetry or art, but also to everyday activities like stitching, shoemaking, and carpentry. Art reflects the artist's inner world, blending realism, naturalism, factualism, and romanticism. It transforms concrete elements into abstract artistic expressions. Aesthetics enriches literature by blending beauty, emotion, and meaning, offering both joy and insight. It transforms perception, deepens understanding, and fosters a lasting connection between art and life. Thank you.
You just heard to a literary talk on literature and aesthetics by Dr. P.Poongundran, Head and Associate Professor, Department of English, Ramakrishna Mission, Vivekananda College, Chennai. This program came to you from the studios of Akashvani, Chennai.